Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank Noor and the whole PATA team. It's been an excellent summit so far, and of course, all the sponsors. Today, we're going to be discussing, understanding travel demand through global distribution networks. A very important topic, very relevant in today's environment. But I'm going to take you guys on a little journey. We're going to jump in our time machine, and we're going to go back to the year 2000. Come on with me. Okay, I might be aging myself a little bit here with this story. It might be very relevant to some of you. Some of you may not have been born yet, but that's good. I think it's important you understand where we were not so long ago and where we are now. I went to university in Colorado. I'm from Philadelphia. At the end of every summer, my father, God rest his soul, would fly out to Colorado and we'd drive back across the states together. And we'd make stops in Chicago and all the relevant cities along the way. It was a great time. And so how did that travel happen? Well, my father would call up the airline 1-800 number, tell him where he wanted to go. They would put his tickets in the mail and mail him his tickets. He'd jump on the plane, come out to Colorado, we'd jump in my car, we'd start driving. Let's say we wanted to stop in Chicago. How are we booking a room in Chicago? Well, if anyone recognizes this beautiful piece of technology up here to my right, that is called a brick cell phone. It weighed about 20 pounds. You had to plug it into your cigarette lighter in the car. It was $2 a phone call and $2 a minute. How'd you get the number for the Hilton in downtown Chicago? You had to dial 411. Write the number down, call the Hilton. Do you have a room available? Yes, we do. You weren't price shopping because it would cost you too much to make the phone calls. You took the room, you gave them the credit card, and that was it. The flights were on time, the hotel rooms were perfect, the trips were amazing, but there was something very key missing from the way we traveled not too long ago. It was data, global travel networks, and no tracing of demand. Back in the time machine, let's come through to present day. Now, with the advent of technology, we've seen unbelievable advances in distribution, different global travel distribution networks that segment and can target all kinds of travel within our ecosystem. So when we look at a supplier, back then, in the way back time, about 75% of bookings were direct to our travel suppliers. Another 25% were usually done through maybe a travel agent or tour operator. Now, we have all of these robust channels that distribute travel, and from that, we can get unbelievable data. And there's no question that technology has dramatically increased and impacted the travel industry, maybe more so than every other industry. Since that time, we've had a 640% increase in travel spend, and importantly, a 220% increase in international travel. So now, as a destination DMO, I have all these great global distribution networks that I can get this valuable demand data off of when it comes to budget allocation and making sure I'm investing properly in the segment of travel and tourists that I want to attract. And probably one of the most important things that's happened is the affordability of travel and the increase in long-haul international travel. Both when we look at that from the aspect, we have destinations now that have long-haul source markets that they never really could travel or attract to before. So let's take a look now at global demand, where we're at with travel. In 2025, we had 1.67 trillion in spend. Now that's just on bookings. The true economic impact over that is 10x, 20x maybe, when you look at the indirect impact of travel and tourism on a destination. This next factor, I think, is one of the most important ones. In 2025, 1.5 billion, with a B, people traveled internationally. Essentially, that's 1 in 5 of every person on the face of the earth traveled internationally. That's unbelievable. We had a 5.3% increase in flight demand, and our occupancy levels were about at 84%. Regionally, when we're speaking how we did in 2025, Europe was number one, continues to be number one with the amount of visitors. But as Gloria said in her speech yesterday, APAC's number two, and APAC is also the fastest growing segment. So that's very important for this region, followed by Americas and Africa. If we look a little more closely on how we were performing Q1 26 versus Q1 25, combined, we were up 4%. It's unbelievable. It's just a testament to the resiliency of this industry, having to overcome all the things we've overcome with COVID and some of the things we're going through now. The Q2 numbers aren't out yet. I'm sure they'll be dipped a little bit with the crisis that's going on in the Middle East. But again, the resiliency of this industry, I'm sure we'll get past it as well. So how are we using all of this great travel demand data as a destination from our global distribution networks? Well, it depends on what your goal is as a destination. Who do you want to target? An example, if you wanted to target the B2C audience, you'd probably be looking to work with an OTA or meta search. If you're looking to affect shoulder season arrivals or develop long-haul international markets, you might want to work with a B2B distributor. And then if you're also looking for great flight data, you might want to reach out to your GDS partner. So basically, every metric that you need in data, in demand, to make your decision is right there, and your partners have it as a global distribution network. Some of the key factors when it comes to leveraging that demand and making your decisions, excuse me 1 second. Almost as good as the sake last night. All right, so the most important things, I think, are market selection, right? We want to make sure that we're picking the right markets at the right time to market to. So if it's high season, we don't want to market to a regional source market to come in. We want to target international long-haul markets. We want to make sure we tie in seasonality and market selection. We want to bring tourism to a destination when that destination needs it the most, which is more than likely that low and shoulder season. Channel strategy. It doesn't make sense to put all your eggs in one basket. We want to make sure we're working with the OTAs. You're working with the B2B distributors, your GDS partners. You want to make sure that you're partnering with them. You're getting the data. You're seeing where the demand is. And that way you can allocate your marketing budget and your resources. Partner activation. We want to make sure, again, targeting right person at the right time. And then one of the most important things that sometimes is overlooked by different destinations or travel companies is product development. I think a destination always has to be improving and re-engaging itself, right? Let's take a look at medical tourism, sports tourism, developing your MICE product. And how do we do this? We have the data, and the data is out there that can show you what destinations are successful in this, what source markets they're driving from, lead times, ADR. All of this information is available now when it wasn't before to help us make wise decisions. Oh, I'll get back one. Okay, so I'm going to give you all a case study. If you don't know, I work for HBX Group, world's largest B2B travel distributor, and me and my team work with about 150 DMOs globally. Very fortunate when we work with DMOs that I have a robust amount of data and demand that I can base those decisions off of. Our platforms get hit with about 7 billion, that's 7 billion searches a day for travel. Every one of those searches, we use that data to build a strategy and story on how we're going to help a destination. Last year, we had an APAC destination we were working with, and they essentially had 3 concerns. The number one concern was they were losing market share to a competitive set destinations. Number 2 was over-tourism and sustainability. And the third was, and I see this a lot, is 80% of their international inbound tourism was coming from only 2 source markets. And we know today, with the geopolitical things, we don't want to make sure not all of our eggs are in one basket. So we want to make sure to diversify and create adaptability in those source markets and develop alternative source markets. So going backwards, 80% of international tourism from 2 source markets. What we did is we looked at all of our data, our demand, and we said, okay, what are some source markets that we already have production in here? They weren't really on the DMO's radar, but we can leverage our clients and our production from there and drive them in. We ended up doing that. We added 2 more destinations to the existing 2 more source markets, to the existing 2. And from that, we actually grew those 2 markets a combined 38% year over year, and we've created alternative source markets for them. And again, we're going to include them in this year's campaign, and we're adding 1 more. When it comes to sustainability and over-tourism, this is a big issue, especially in the APAC region. So for me, I looked at it pretty simply. I said, okay, what we need to do is get the same, if not more, economic impact with less people. How do we do that? High-value tourism. So again, we went through the data. We targeted a luxury travel in our long-haul international markets for shoulder season. And with this, we made sure that they were the right star hotel, 4 or 5 star, right length of stay, right lead times. And basically, what we were able to do is increase revenue by 22%, room nights by 31%, with the same amount of passengers. So that's a great sustainable approach, and it was all backed by data and all backed by the demand that we have through that data. And thirdly, competitive markets. They were losing market share. What we did, again, data-driven, we took a look at our clients in the target source markets, who was booking into their competition, but wasn't booking into them. And we inundated them with extra marketing, incentives, promotional rates, and we shifted the travel trend, and we were able to actually increase market share 27% year over year versus our target source markets. So in conclusion, I want to first of all thank you again for coming here, and just to let you know, if you're working with any global distribution network, make sure you're getting that data from them. If you're going to allocate funds to them, make sure you know why you're allocating them and where those funds are going. The data's out there. Make sure you're asking for it. And if you have any questions, me and my team will be around. Thank you.